Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whichever time you're listening to this. I am the Professor David Sanders, coming to you live from Tacoma, Washington. Gonna be doing our wrestling podcast here. Gonna be going over tomorrow night's TLC pay-per-view, which has been changed a little bit over the last couple weeks. And we'll go over some news and notes here. We'll get started with those. Looks like CM Punk might be out a little bit longer than what was first thought. Looks like his injury is needs a little bit more time. He was projected to come back shortly after the new year. Now it looks like his return date is slated for January 14th, which is the night they are planning on giving Ryback his title shot, but that might change due to WWE needing to step up the Royal Rumble promotion between The Rock and CM Punk. I don't know. I'm still sticking with Punk retaining. I have a whole theory on that. I'll get to that next week on the podcast here. Let's just say it might leave a few of you with your jaws dropped open with the idea. And if you listened to the Los Five Horsemen podcast last year, heading into WrestleMania, I had a pretty good idea back then too, but it didn't seem to pan out. But this year, I think it's a little more conceivable. So let's see what happens. Like I said, John Cena's in the news a little bit. Looks like there's a little bit of negativity toward John Cena. Yeah, I know. Big shocker, right? Looks like the website Wired.com has singled him out as the reason why wrestling storylines are going down the crapper. Don't know how it's single-handedly his fault. I would blame creative myself for keep giving him the so-called chances that they remarked in their little tirade against John, I guess you'd call it. Yeah, it looks like some of the article here, and I quote from Wired.com, "It's the most blatant example of pulling strings to give him an endless amount of chances, and to make matters worse, it's a pointless storytelling move." Okay, again, how is that John Cena's fault? That is the writer's fault, and the writers have been the problem for a very long time in the WWE. Actually, you know what? Not even just WWE, and TNA as well, because TNA, yes, it has become more watchable than it was a year ago. I'll give it to that, because of the whole Aces and Eights storylines, but still, Claire Lynch storyline, anybody? Yeah. I mean, that was just as painful as Katie Vick, if anyone remembers that. But yeah, they're basically ripping to Cena. I guess somebody's not thinking Ziggler's going over tomorrow night in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Yes, I am calling it that because that is essentially what it is. Once again, I'll have my predictions here in a moment. TNA going downhill again. They had one of the worst ratings I've seen with them in a while, and you know what? That's not saying much. But when you're dipping down into the 0.7 levels, when you're regularly around the 0.9 to 1.0, yeah, you might want to start thinking about some stuff. Here's some news that we've all been waiting for. Jeff Hardy out an album called Similar Creatures. Yes, Jeff Hardy is the latest wrestler to go into the music industry, following the great footsteps of Randy Macho Man Savage, John Cena, and I don't know who else. Jeff Jarrett, Road Dogg, I don't know. But no, yeah, this looks like it's going to be available on ShopTNA.com. Looks like it's already out, and on iTunes and other online music outlets. So if you still have your Zune out there, your Microsoft Zune, go download Jeff Hardy's album. It will make that seem less crappy. Alright. That's a little of the news and the notes. Not much else going on this weekend. It's actually been a pretty quiet week in the wrestling world. Everyone's all focused on tomorrow night's TLC in the WWE world. So let's go ahead and get to my thoughts on that. Well, my thoughts on the YouTube pre-show aren't going to be much because nobody cares about the Divas division. And the one person that people do care about in that division, they took out of the Battle Royal. They took AJ Lee out, replaced him with Cameron and Naomi, the Funkasaurus dancers. So, you know what? I'm just going to randomly throw in Natalya as the winner. I don't know why, but yeah, Natalya's going to win that. Then we get to the main show. First matchup is Team Lucha Libre, Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara versus Rhodes Scholars. I refuse to call them Team Rhodes Scholars. There is no need for the word team in front of that name. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to give the win here to Cody's mustache and Damien's beard. They need it, I think, a lot more than Rey and Sin Cara does at this point. United States Champion Antonio Cesaro taking on R-Truth. I have Antonio Cesaro in my fantasy league that I started in my Facebook group, the Pipe Bomb Squad Invitational. So, of course, I'm going with Antonio Cesaro to win this one. Intercontinental Champion Kofi Kingston versus Wade Barrett. You know, as much as I like Kofi, I think we had this discussion the other day in that group that Kofi could be a main eventer soon. I don't see it. I cannot see him being any more than an Intercontinental or United States Champion. I can't. But I think it's Wade Barrett's turn. I think they're going to start grooming him for a world title run next year. The perfect way to do that at this point, to make him relevant again, make him mean something, build him up again, is give him that IC title. Wade Barrett defeats Kofi Kingston is my prediction to become the new Intercontinental Champion. The Big Show versus Sheamus saga continues in a chairs match this time. I have not been impressed with Sheamus as the world champion. I was glad that he lost the belt, but I was not glad on who he lost the belt to. To me, the Big Show is way past done. There's really not a lot he can do. I mean, he's done the funny stuff, he's done the serious stuff, he's done the monster stuff. I just don't care about the Big Show anymore, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of people just don't care anymore about the Big Show. And Sheamus, he is good. I like Sheamus. I like him as a wrestler, but world champion, he didn't do much. He didn't capture anyone's attention. I mean, if it were up to me, my thoughts on WrestleMania this year should have happened, because really, the World Heavyweight Championship, to me, it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, it hasn't been showcased very much. It just basically is a prop that whoever's holding it brings down to the ring with them now. I mean, I know all titles are props. I know that there's no real meaning because they're not real championships, but you know what? Sheamus and the Big Show, the World Championship, I don't even care. Big Show's going to retain, I think. I would love for this to actually open the show and Dolph Ziggler cash in. That way it turns John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler into a World Heavyweight title ladder match instead of the Money in the Bank. But the only thing that worries me on that is if that does happen, I don't see Dolph Ziggler winning that ladder match. But that's my thoughts on that. I just don't see the draw on the World Heavyweight title. I think it should have been merged with the WWE title at WrestleMania in a triple threat match between who should have been the Royal Rumble winner, Chris Jericho, CM Punk, and Daniel Bryan. I think that would have been a much, much more exciting match than what we got with Sheamus and Bryan, and even to a point Jericho and Punk. But that's why I don't work for the WWE, I guess. Alright, up next is that ladder match to John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler. Like I said, if Dolph does cash in earlier in the night and wins the World Heavyweight title, John Cena goes over here. I cannot see Dolph winning this. If that doesn't happen, if this is strictly for that briefcase, Dolph Ziggler is going to win this. I can't see John Cena winning both briefcases in the same calendar year and losing both of them. It would not make sense. Because John Cena versus Big Show, we've seen it. John Cena versus Sheamus, we've seen it. He's basically 50-50 with both of them. John Cena does not need a belt. And I'll get into that here in a minute, too. But no, Dolph Ziggler, if the Money in the Bank contract is on the line, Dolph Ziggler wins. If it is the World Heavyweight title, I do have to go with John Cena. And our restructured main event was supposed to be CM Punk versus Ryback until CM Punk's injury. Now it is Team Hell No, consisting of Kane and Daniel Bryan, teaming up with Ryback versus the self-proclaimed Shield of the WWE. Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. This should main event the night. And if they want to keep the Shield's momentum going, as who they are, they need to win here. They don't need to pin Ryback. And I don't see him pinning Kane, so I do see Daniel Bryan taking the pinfall in this. But for anyone who was an ROH fan in the last 5-6 years, or probably even longer, this is a dream match right here. It has, because you know CM Punk's going to be out there somehow. He's going to be on his crutches or in his wheelchair, one of the two. He is going to be out there somehow. But think about this. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and the former Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, all in a WWE ring in a main event of a pay-per-view involved. If that doesn't make you happy, I don't know what will. I mean, honestly, I do not know what will make you happy if you do not love that. But I do see the Shield coming out victorious. I do not see Ryback taking the pinfall, though. I think they'll put him through a table on the outside. I'm just going to say it. Reigns will pin Bryan for the 1, 2, 3. And that will be the TLC 2012 edition. You know, this is about the time I would promote my next show next week, but I think I'm going to go a little bit longer here, because I think I'm just going to dive into part of the topic that I'm going to dive into next week, and that's how I would book the next 3 months in the world of the WWE. Because you know what? I don't see Rocky winning at the Royal Rumble. I'll give you up through the Royal Rumble tonight. Next week I will finish it off. But here's what I think. Here's what I would do if I was the head booker of the WWE right now. Go into Royal Rumble. You have great matches up and down the road. You have another Dolph Ziggler John Cena match probably. Something with Vicky's position on the line, something like that. You'll have probably the Big Show, if he's back in time, versus Randy Orton, because Orton's supposed to be the big dog going forward. Probably have some great tag team action. I actually think either Road Scholars or Primetime Players will actually take the tag team titles from Hell No at the Royal Rumble. Hell, it could even be the Shield. I don't know. Taking the tag team titles. But I think that Hell No's reign will be over come the Royal Rumble. But that will leave time for the Royal Rumble, and then, of course, Rock and Punk. Rock and Punk will go on last, and I'll explain to that here in a minute. The Royal Rumble will be the second to last match on the card. You'll have typical Royal Rumble. You'll have a few surprises here and there. You might have like Billy Gunn come out since he was re-signed. You might have a couple people that have been rumored to come back, something like an MVP, a Shelton Benjamin, something like that coming out. But the big surprise will not be until entrant number 30. The way I see it is Kane, Daniel Bryan, let's just go John Cena, and let's just say Fandango, because there's always seems to be a jobber or lower mid Carter in the final four, or five. You have, with entrant 29, you have Sheamus come out, since he's no longer the champion. You'll have him get rid of Fandango. So then you're left basically with Team Hell No and John Cena and Sheamus, and they're both trying to take each other out. Entrant number 30 will be The Undertaker. He has been rumored that he is in great shape to come back to the ring. Why not have him come back at the Royal Rumble, number 30, eliminating whoever's left, winning the Royal Rumble. Fast forward about 10 minutes later, we have the Rock and Punk promos, we have all the hype, we have Punk a montage of Punk's kind of insults to The Rock. We have The Rock in his last 2 weeks that he actually appeared on TV trying to deliver the same promo that he always does. And the crowd eating it up like they always do. You have Punk versus Rock. A match that we've been waiting for a while now. Since he came back to the WWE 2 years ago. Since the pipe bomb was dropped in 2011. This is one match we have been waiting for. Two of the best talkers probably ever in the WWE. Again, I would have CM Punk retain here. But not in a clean fashion. We all know the history between Cena and Rock. We all know they want Cena and Rock WrestleMania 29. Even though they said once in a lifetime. This will be Rock Cena 2. And Cena will help Punk retain inadvertently. Just like The Rock helped The Miz retain against John Cena at the end of WrestleMania 27. They could play that into the storylines, remembering, hey, continuity, hooray! Plus, don't forget the verbal jabs back and forth about Rock never being there, Rock saying he was never going to go, have Cena claim all that the next night on Raw as reasons why he helped The Rock lose. If there isn't a more perfect time for even somewhat of a Cena heel turn, it's now. They blew it so many times in the past. They blew it with the Nexus angle. They blew it with so many ways I can't even count anymore. This would turn him heel. This would get the crowd behind The Rock, who they want to have behind The Rock, because he is the face going in. Have Cena be the heel, and you will see magic appear on your screen. But then you ask, what about the WWE title match? Wasn't that supposed to be The Rock and John Cena for the WWE Championship? That's where my booking gets a little interesting, and next week I will go further into that. A few people know where I'm going with this already, but for the rest of you, you have to wait. Next week, I will give my year-end awards. I will give my predictions for 2013, including the bold statement of the year. And it does involve the booking through WrestleMania. I am the Professor David Sanders. Follow me at SandersD84. Follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/SandersD84. Also, I have a Facebook page. It is facebook.com/Professor D. Sanders. Come and like it. Come and start a conversation. Let me know what you think. Comments are welcome on all media outlets, including the YouTube page here. And until next week, be good humans.